Hey everybody, it's the Soulful Stitcher coming back with my latest floss tube. So in this floss tube, we're going to talk about year whips. I'm going to show you my year whips lineup. And then we're going to talk about the extreme challenge that I've set for Soulful Stitching, right? So for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Melanie, aka Soulful Stitcher. I also am the admin of the group Soulful Stitcher. I created that group as a place for stitchers to come, be a part of it without, clicks or any of that type of stuff, or, people who like to stitch on Ada don't have to feel bad or feel like they're less than linen stitchers. I mean, you kind of know all of the little ins and outs of the cross stitching community, that a lot of us don't agree with. So I created a group that is a great place all around for whoever, whatever, whenever. So life updates, there's really nothing to tell. Still being a productive citizen in American society, working, paying taxes, lucky enough, kind of finished raising kids, but you still got to keep your hand in the pot every now and then. And then I had the privilege of taking a business trip to New York, but I was able to work it out to where I was able to see my daughter, my son, and my grandchildren and my son-in-law. The great thing is I got to meet two of my grandchildren that I'd never met in person, and that was a lot. It was a great trip, but it was emotional at the end for various different reasons. My first time being in New York, so I'd never been there, didn't really know what to expect, but I had a really great time. Our company got our hotel pretty much right in the center of Times Square, so to speak, and so that was amazing in itself. I didn't really get a chance to go see Statue of Liberty, didn't get a chance to go to Niagara Falls, didn't get a chance to see the World Twin Towers because of the fact that it was a business trip, and the little bit of time I did have that was quote unquote free time. I really wanted to spend it with my daughter and my son-in-law and my son and my grandchildren. So one of the things is that I was trying to do before I got there is set up set up a trip to go to a cross stitching store in New York, kind of where I was stationed. And the sad thing is there was none. There was a couple shops that had a little bit of cross stitch, but nothing really to get excited about. And after connecting with some of the cross stitchers that live in New York, basically they informed me that Needle Workers Delight out in New Jersey is pretty much the go-to place. I did go to a little store by the name of Annie and Company. Was a little freaked out because my son and my son-in-law were with me, and we're talking about, a 6'4" black guy standing in the middle of this little mousy shop, out of place. So, was a little bit worried about how that was all going to work, but it turned out fine. The lady, the owner, the people that were working there were absolutely great. Unfortunately, they just didn't have anything. A lot of the patterns they did have were just real out of date, and just kind of stuck in little magazine holder, just kind of pushed on the shelf. But of course you try to find the positive in everything, right? So the positive was my granddaughter was with me, and I'm hoping that Alana picks up the cross stitching craft, but we'll see. So for her to be in the cross stitching shop or the needle workshop, and just to see the different items, some of the things that I'm familiar with, and there actually happened to be a lady sitting at the table we were at that was picking out yarn or whatever it is that you use for needle point. So she got to actually see canvases and different yarns, and how the lady was color coordinating everything. And then my daughter was there too, and back in the day, she did cross stitching with me, but now she's like, no, mom, she's more into like scrapbooking and stuff like that. So that meant a lot to me, that, and also my son was there too. My kids know that I cross stitch. They've grown up around me cross stitching, but to have them as adults be a part of something that I really love at that particular moment was important to me. And then as far as my grandchildren, I got to meet my newest, and her name is Ava. And she is absolutely a little ham. I just love her to pieces. She's just beautiful. So to make a long story short, the whole trip was wonderful, but I have to be honest with you. I was glad when I got back home. I set the trip up to where I would get into New York early, and then I set it up to where I was out of there. I literally was back home at Jacksonville Airport at 10:32 in the morning. So when I got home, I was really happy to be home. As far as Christmas is concerned, it was absolutely amazing, absolutely wonderful. Got to connect with all my family that I couldn't be next to physically. They had a marvelous Christmas. My mother-in-law and my wife really, really, really took care of me. They got me everything I wanted, which cross-stitching related. They got me the ot lamp that has a USB port in it, so I can plug up my iPhone or plug up my iPad, while I'm using the lamp. If my wife is watching something and I want to watch something different, I can just put in my headphone and watch it by my iPad. And it actually has an arm on it that swings out to where, I can station the iPad that's good for me in viewing distance. And then the top of the lamp, it actually has two lamps that split. So loved it. Also, I did get my heating blanket, which if you guys don't know, you will right now. I absolutely hate being cold. I freaking hate it. And so I asked for a heating blanket, which I think my wife and my mother-in-law were very okay with purchasing, because I will blast them out of here with the heat, because I absolutely hate being cold. And the heating blanket that I got is absolutely amazing. It's really soft. I love it. And it's big enough for me. You know how sometimes you'll get a heating blanket and it doesn't even cover you all the way up? Well, this one covers me all the way up, so it's great. And then, of course, I returned, making sure that they had great Christmas gifts and stuff too. And from the looks and the response that I got, I think they were really happy with their gifts as well. And then my birthday is coming up. And so I'm looking forward to that. I got a, request as far as cross-stitching related. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But I will do a floss tube on my birthday, because that's when the year of whips actually starts. So we'll talk more about birthday stuff then. So now let's talk about the year of whips, 2019. So I've made one change. I'm going to go over this again, and then I'm going to delete the other two videos that I have on my profile for YouTube, because of the fact that this video is it. This is the one that you should pay attention to. This is the one that's going to give you all the information. I'm not changing anything. And if you ask me in the group, well, this, that, and it's something that I know for a fact that I've answered, I'm going to direct you right to this video. Not being mean or condescending or anything like that, but just like everyone else, my life is way too busy to stop and answer questions that you can simply find the answer for in the video. I work, and when I get off of work, I spend time with my family, so I'm not going to constantly answer questions that you can find the answer to. But of course, it goes without saying, if I don't answer, give you information on something that you need to know, or something that might be a better idea, then of course, reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to help you. So with that being said, here are the expectations for Year of Whips 2019, right? So we have two ways of doing it. The first way is do it your way, and that's self-explanatory. Do it however you want to do it, when you want to do it. That's it. That's all. You don't need to check in with me. You don't need to ask me anything. You don't need to post pictures. You're more than welcome to post pictures if you want to. But I'm talking about you don't have to create a photo album or anything like that, right? That's the first option. The second option is if you want to be a part of the major drawing that's going to happen in December, and if you want to be a part of the yearly drawings that are going to happen throughout the year. So, the expectation number one, you have to have at least 18 whips. Don't say to me, well, I have 15, I have 17. That's great. But in order to qualify for the drawing, you need to have 18 or more. So you only have to create an initial album. And in the initial album, you need to show the cover page of the chart. You need to show a picture, you need to show the picture of the whip at the starting point of January 18th, where you're going to start. And then you need to have it labeled, right? You need to, have a cover page. You need to have a picture of the initial whip, and then it needs to be labeled. So the second, the next thing is, in order to qualify for the drawing, December 18th of 2019, you have to have completed half of the whips that you set back in January. So if you chose 18, in order to qualify for the drawing in December 2019, you have to have completed 9. And then in June, what I decided, because everybody gets bored. And no matter, what challenge we set, what prize you give away, if you're just done with the project, you're done. So in June, you can switch out projects. Like it's 6 months into it, you find out that you're just really not loving something and you want to get rid of that and replace it with something else. You're more than welcome. Just if you switch out your album, switch out your projects in June, it still must equal 18 or more. And then you need to update the photo album with the whip that you're going to choose in June. So delete the old whip that you're no longer going to work on, and then insert the cover page labeled and a picture of the whip starting point. Then let's talk about full coverage designs. Full coverage designs. Each page counts as one whip. So if you're doing a HAID, or you're doing a full coverage design by Charting Creations, or anyone like that, let's not split hairs. Full cover designs, no matter where they come from, each page counts as a whip. Now, anything that represents a series, like the Cottage series by Little House Needleworks, the Farmhouse Christmas, band samplers, and I'll touch on that in a second. The Jane Austen style. Anything that's like a series or monthly or has parts to it. Each part, each month is one whip, right? So let's talk about band samplers. Band samplers, I feel, deserve to be each section as a whip because I've seen them. And I've seen how detailed and difficult and time consuming they are. I watched Tracy P do one. I watched Erica. I don't remember her last name, but I do know she's a Canadian that creates needle minders. And Letitia, I've seen people do band samplers and they are in depth, and they definitely, each section is considered a whip. Um, let me see. Oh, as far as full coverage and HAIDs are concerned, right? Remember how January 18th, the whip, the starting point, and someone made a good idea because she was like, well, you know, how about stuff that I had already completed, yada, 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 before January 18th? And then automatically, me being me, I was like, okay, well, you can't use past work for a new competition. But then she elaborated a little more. She was like, well, I've already done certain sections on the page of the HAID. And you know how, like, you park and all of that. So in that particular case, that stuff counts. That's just a little going overboard type of stuff that I'm not really into, and I'm not going to make this difficult. So, as far as HAIDs are concerned, it's whatever, because they're just too difficult to try to make all these expectations and different things, like, right, like nobody cares if you had already started certain sections and this and that. Just show what you have and kind of take it from there. And then the one major change that I have made is your whips do not have to be started by January 18th. I think that's a little overboard, given the fact that once you start them on the 19th or 20th, by December 18th of 2019, they're going to be a whip anyway. So who really cares what day you started, as long as, it wasn't started before the 18th, in the sense of, whatever work you do, it counts after the 18th. So, I was like, okay, really? So I had went back and watched my video, and I do that, one, to make sure that I got everything on there, and two, just make sure the information is accurate. And when I was watching my video and I saw myself say, well, you have to have all the whips started, I even had to give myself the side eye on that, like, really, Melanie? So no, all of your whips do not have to be started. Just know that as of January 18th, anything from the 18th and beyond will count. Okay, so then we have 2-year whip drawings that start off initially. One, in April, if you have completed at least 3 whips, you will be entered in a drawing for $15. In June, if you have completed 6, you will be entered in a drawing for $25. And yes, you can qualify for both. Throughout the rest of the year, I will impose some year whip challenges as well, but you'll get those when it's time. Because for me, the year of whips of 2019 is about to be turned up. When I first started this, I really wanted to kind of tread lightly, because I didn't want people to get overwhelmed and dropped out and and this and that. Forget all that. The year 2019 is about to be turned up, and it's about to be extreme. So, of course, again, the challenges that I present for the year of whips, you do not have to participate in, and they have absolutely nothing to do with the drawing that will take place in December of 2019. This is extra on top of that, and additional drawings as well. So if you don't participate in the Year of Whip Challenge, it does not disqualify you from, completing half and yada, yada, yada. So don't feel like you have to do it. But those of us who are extreme, ready to rock it out, ready to just get wild and crazy with it, that's what we're doing. So the Year of Whip Extreme Challenge number 1 is this. I will tell you after I do my Year of Whip lineup. So let's talk about my particular Year of Whip lineup. I have so far 25 projects that I am committing to finish in the year of 2019. That number is actually going to increase, but for right now, this is what I have. But on my birthday, I will probably tell you the additional ones that I am going to add. Okay, so let's start with number one. So number one is the infamous, famous Sky Blue Street by Jung Sunny for Soda Stitch. So if you have not seen the cover page for that, this is what it looks like. And this is where I am currently at today. Okay. Then next we have Heart of America, and this is by Little House Needleworks. And I'm sorry you're going to hear a bunch of rustling, but I'm sure you'll be fine with it. So this is by Little House Needleworks, and it's called Heart of America. And this is where I am at so far on this one. I'm just basically right now getting the boxes outlined. And I am doing this on 30 count Old Salem's Linen by Primitive Hair. And as far as, and I should have told you, as far as Sky Blue Street, I'm doing this just on a plain piece of white 40 count linen. Next up, we have Red, White, and Bloom. And Red, White, and Bloom is by Country Cottage Needleworks. And I am doing this one on a piece of just 28 count tea-dyed even weave, and this is so far where I've gotten. Next, I am going to be doing, it's called Singing in the Spring. This is also by Country Cottage Needleworks. I love this. I think I love the colors, and at first I was like, you know, that's kind of kiddish looking. Do you really want to finish it? And I was like thinking to myself, like, heck yeah, why not? So I'm doing this on a piece of 18 count Ada, and that's how far I've gotten. And just ignore the tape. That was back in the day when I didn't know any better. So. And as for so far, except for Heart of America, I'm just using regular DMC. Heart of America actually was a kit put together except for the fabric by Little House Needleworks, and I'm using Crescent Colors. I believe it's changed to something different now, but that's what I'm doing. So the next one is Bueno Appetito, and this is a Charting Creations design by Nikki. And this is what this one looks like. So I'm going to try to commit to 2 pages for that. And this is where I'm at so far. And I'm just doing that on a 25 count even weave. I mean, excuse me, yeah, 25 count even weave. Yep. Okay. The next one is called Wild Flowers Wishes, and that is a design by Just Nan. And again, just regular DMC, and that's what that one looks like. And I am doing this also on 28 count even weave, regular DMC, and I think it's like considered antique white, and this is how far I've gotten on that one. Okay, next up, I have a French design by a French designer, and I don't think I can pronounce the name. Philanthrop. And this is called Blue Flowers. Again, regular DMC with some Petite Treasure braid. I'm doing this on 28 count, 32 count opalescent. And this is how far I've gotten. Okay. Next up, Japanese sampler. And Japanese sampler is done by Modern Folk. And this is what it looks like. And I am doing this on 28 count even weave, and I am doing it over 1. And that is where I'm at so far. And the particular colors that I'm using for this is coming from Victorian Motto thread, and it's called Glow in the Dark. And the next one is called Special Orchid. Okay. Okay, next we have another soda stitch pattern by Jung Sunny, and this is called Korean Man. And this is what this one looks like. And again, I am doing this with DMC. I'm doing this on 40 count flax, and this is where I am at so far. Here, let me see something. Yeah, looks a little better. Okay. Next up is Zodiac by Clouds Factory. Unfortunately, I have lost my working copy, so I have to go back and print another one, and I wasn't going to do all of that. If you don't know what it looks like, just go to Clouds Factory and look for the Zodiac one. And this is what it looks like so far. I am doing this on 18 count Aida. Wow. It would help if I turned it the right way. I'm doing this on 18 count Aida, and this was hand dyed myself. I just used some pink, light pink and dark pink Rit dye and did the low immersion method. Next up, we have King Henry by Clouds Factory, and this is what this one looks like. Fortunately, I printed it in black and white, but you'll get the gist of it anyway. It's King Henry VIII and his wives, and I am doing that on 32 count Country Mocha, and this is where I'm at. That's all that I have done. Next up, we have Bethlehem by Little House Needleworks. And this was one that I worked on from, you could really say, November to December. I really put a lot of stitches in it, so that was kind of like my ongoing whip for 2018. And this is where I'm at with that one. This is also done on a 40 count flax, I believe, and I'm literally almost done. But I will not be picking it up again probably until Christmas. Well, I mean, I'm going to do it for Year of Whips, but I'm saying it. I might not do that particular design until around Christmas time. Next, we have All Woman. And if you haven't seen that design, it's this one. And this is by Love Thy Thread. And this is where I'm at. I'm doing this on 28 count even weave. I dyed it myself. I just used orange and yellow. And I believe this was a low water immersion technique as well. So far I've gotten her eye, and get ready to move into the bangs. Next up, it's Halloween, and It's Halloween is by Foxwood Crossings, and it's this one, and this one as well. 18 count Ada, hand dyed myself, low water immersion technique. Next up, we have Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. And you know what that one looks like. And my starting point for that is this. And I even have my little Hawk Run Hollow needle minder. And this is being done on 40 count ecru. All right. Next up, we have Pumpkin 3 by Lottie Dye. And that's what this one looks like. And I'm actually, in this particular one, I'm using Splendor threads. It just has that silky sheen to it. And I wanted just to use something different besides plain black. Fortunately, I do not know what color this fabric is. It was just an unnamed color in my stash, which I have plenty of those. But this is as far as I've gotten on it. But this particular fabric was also close to what they were using in the picture. Next up, I have Desert Princess by Brooks Books. And this is what this one looks like. And I am doing this on a 28 count Sahara. I can't remember what it is. Oh, there we go again. Okay, and let me tell you something about this fabric. Back in 2016, for a birthday present to myself, I went to my local needle workshop, which is called a Stitch in Time in Jacksonville, and I learned how to stitch on linen. And loved it, fell in love with it, obviously, but I got overzealous, right? And I pretty much ordered like a boat almost. I mean, not quite a boat, but I'm telling you, I have a lot of this. And 28 count white. Because I was overzealous and excited, not realizing that I was going to end up loving stitching on 40 count. So I have all this fabric. So I'll put it to use somehow. Next up, we have Song of the Seasons by Little House Needleworks. Back in the day, this was a 3-part mystery series. And this is, you know, how the pattern comes. And this is where I am at. I'm doing this on a 40 count antique. I'm doing this on a 40 count antique white. And this is where I've gotten so far. And I actually had started that way back and literally was almost done. But when I got to this section here, right, there's going to be like two houses and there's a tree in the middle. Well, down at the bottom of the houses, there's a bunch of flowers and different things like that and grass. And it just wasn't lining up. I like made a mistake somewhere, and you know how we are. Like, dude, I'm not going to restart this over. So you try to fudge it, you try to make it work, and it just wouldn't. So I had to scrap the whole entire thing and start over. So that's where I'm at with that. Now, the next one, the next couple, well, wait a minute. Let me scratch that. So the next one is Blackbird Design. It's called Strawberry Fields. And this is where I'm at with that one. That's all I've gotten done. And I am doing that. I don't even know. I don't think this is the... Yeah, no. I couldn't even begin to tell you. I just know it's a 32 count that I've had my stash. So I don't know. The next one is going to be Oriental Lady. And this is by Joan Elliott. I literally have had this in my stash for probably a good 4 or 5 years. And I always want to start and stop. So this is what she looks like. And this is where I'm at. Just a lot of my fabrics are see-through. So I've only gotten the top of her head done. I'm using Petite Treasure braid and also DMC. But let me tell you, let me show you something trifling. See this? See these spots? See this? See that? Guess what that was? My wax warmer. Not paying attention to what I was doing. I moved my wax warmer, and where I had my scroll rods, it fell and it got wax all over it. But guess what? I'm not starting it over, and I'm not throwing away that fabric. So we will just have to cut it out, fix it when it comes time to framing it. And then next up with this is a piece of haul, so to speak. And I only have a couple pieces of haul. I don't know what was going on with me. I was just not in a buying mood, like just really not interested in buying anything. This is called Romance in Paradise. I got this off of the Creative Poppy website, and it is by the designer Shannon Christine. I absolutely love this. Absolutely love this. It has all kinds of bead work in it. I'm just using the normal DMC. However, I did hand dye a piece of 28 count even weave, and all I did was use the color teal and did low immersion water technique again. And this is the color that, oh, it doesn't do it any justice that way. Yeah. So this is the color that I'm doing it on. And just to kind of give you an idea of how beautiful it is, let me show you some of the threads up against it. You know what? That's not even going to work. That was a hot mess. So let me just do this. In this. All right. So just to kind of show you how pretty that's going to be. Some of those colors right there. I was trying it. If you look at the pattern right here in the background, it kind of looks like maybe some type of beige or light brown or something. And I was going to follow that but the white looked absolutely horrific. And I don't know about you, but for me, I don't know why white thread has to just look so horrible if you're using 2 strands of it. For me personally, not speaking for anybody else, but for me, whenever I use 2 strands of white thread, it looks absolutely horrific. So, on linen. So I'm trying it on even weave, and we'll see how it comes out. The next up is vintage glassware. And these next ones I have not actually started yet, but I will start them. So vintage glassware, which you guys have seen this one before. And what I've done is in the particular pattern, if you look right here, it's telling you to take a strand of 2 different colors of DMC, put them together to blend it, right? So I'm like, the heck with all of that. So what I did was pulled those individual colors out, laid them out on the table, and then I took the DMC variegated floss and matched them to the closest that I could come. And so I am going to just be using the intertwined DMC, the variegated floss, instead of intertwining 2 separate pieces. And I did start that, but I didn't like the linen that it was on, so I'm going to restart that too. And it actually looked great, so I'm going to keep up with that. And then another piece of haul I bought, it's called Once Upon a Time by Heaven and Earth Designs. I absolutely fell in love with this. And when I get finished this video, I'm actually going to go ahead and set it up and get started on it. So Laura Ellis and I were going to do Stitch Along Together and Boylin, because that design also came out for Heaven and Earth Design. And if you know me, you know that I'm a King Henry VIII fanatic. And so, I was like, oh, I got to get it, this and that. We had made plans. But then when I saw her Instagram, she showed that one, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I like that one better than Anne Boleyn. So we're going to stitch that one together. And I'm just going to do that one as well on a 28 count even weave, and I'm going to stitch it over 1. And the last one, which I did start, is by Drawn Thread. It's called Sampler Game Board. And this is what that looks like. And Pam and Steph, Miss Pam showed her completed version of that, and it looked fantastic. So me, I am doing this on 28 count even weave, and I am stitching it over 1. And this is where I'm at on that. And this is where I'm at so far. So the good thing is, even sitting here right now and going through my projects, I'm not looking at any of them and saying, do I really want to do that? I'm actually happy with the ones that I chose. So I'm looking forward to getting getting some projects completed. I did have one finish in 2018. You guys know that Laurie, Mischievous Stitches, unfortunately lost her grandson. And I was contacted to do a design for that because a quilt was being made for her. I can talk about it now because she's received the quilt. And so I did complete a design for that. I did a beautiful cross that came from Stony Creek magazine. I don't have my phone to show you a picture, so I'll show it later on. So I did have one finished for 2018. And the little bit of haul that I have, besides the 2 patterns that I bought, I belong to the thread club for Victorian Motto thread. So I did get my monthly primitive threads for that. And then also I decided to be a part of her fabric of the month. So this is a 40 count piece of fabric, and unfortunately there is no name for it, but I just asked to be a part of the primitive fabric club. So, and then I don't know about anybody else, but I do have a hard time getting pain and stuff in my hand when I'm stitching. So I did order a thing of gloves, and they're okay. I might have to turn around and get another one because I just want them to be a little bit tighter. So that's pretty much it. There's nothing else to tell, nothing else to share. So I hope you guys have an awesome Sunday, a great week, and I will be back with my next video in progress on my birthday. So, you know, keep it up, stitch all the things, and talk to everyone later.